Okay. So in the last class we have
This call
seen,
is now being recorded.
what functions and particularly recursive functions. Of course, I agree that I didn't show for some many of the programs, but I explained it. You first think about a program. I mean, a given problem mathematically, whether if you want to write that particular program recursively, do we have base case for it? If suppose base case is existing, then of course either we can adopt that tail recursion or head recursion, and by using any one of these techniques we can implement, right? So that's what I told you, and I think I have demonstrated a power n. And commonly people explain about factorial, finding of factorial. So that's what about the last class session. Now today we are going to learn about the three important concepts, if time permits, of course. One is parameter passing techniques. Yes, anyone, Amma? How many methods of parameter passing techniques that we have in C language?
Two, sir.
Two, sir.
What are they?
Call by value and call by reference.
Check for the
Right.
reference, sir.
Okay. Anyone remember about the number of parameter techniques in C++? So when it comes to the C++, we have
Five.
three types only: call by value, call by pointer, and call by reference. The call by reference which we call in what C is separately treated in C++, and the call by reference which we use in C is equivalent to call by pointer, we can say, in C++. So in C++ we have three types of calling, I mean parameter passing techniques, but here we are concentrating on C. So as you said that in C there are two types of calling, parameter passing techniques are there. To a function can pass the parameters in two different ways. One is call by value and the other one is call by reference. Okay, it's also called as call by pointer. Okay. Right. Now what's the use of it, that we'll discuss it, but before we go for it, uh, let me demonstrate that. Suppose I want to do a programming by swapping of two numbers. So I have prepared that sheet, Amma. I mean, screen is ready. So let me demonstrate about call by value of swapping of two numbers, because why I'm adopting this one means so that one can easily understand what is the difference between call by value and call by reference. So here I'm demonstrating about call by value first of all. So to do that one, what I'm doing is, say I'm taking two variables A holding say 5, and on one more variable I'm taking B which is holding say 7. So remember, A and B are the two variables of integer type I have taken, and A is holding 5, B is holding 7. Now before I swap, I am interested in printing the value. Printf A is equal to percentile D, comma B is equal to percentile D, comma A, comma B. These are the two values before swap. Before swap, the values of A and B are A is equal to, okay, percentile D, and B is equal to 5. We are printing that value, what I'm trying to say. Then what I will do, I will call the swap method, which won't return anything, by passing the values A, comma B, hoping that maybe the contents of A and B are going to be swapped. That means A which is holding 5 will be given to B, and B which is holding 7 is given to A. So as a result, we expect that A should hold 7 and B should hold 5. So after calling the method, now once again, let me print the values. A is equal to percentile D, comma B is equal to percentile D. Okay, and then I'm printing A and B. Same as usual. Before swap, after swap, both the times I'm printing the values of A and B. Now what I'll do, I have to design that what the swap has to do. So why? Because swap is not going to return any value. And here int x comma int y. So the entire body including prototype and its definition I'm writing here above the main, because I told you that there are two ways are there. After call, if you are after caller, if you are writing the Kali body, then declaration is mandatory. Otherwise, before caller, if you are writing the callee body, no need to declare the prototype. So here, since I am calling that swap method from main, so before calling only, I have provided everything, including the prototype, declaration, and definition, all. So now what I'll do to swap that one, I'm taking a temporary variable temp. So temp is equal to say x, and x is equal to y, and y is equal to again back temp. So this was the general logic, a simple logic I implemented by taking the temporary variable. Now, suppose in case if I compile, okay, we didn't get any errors, fine. Now tell me, sir, are you going to get the swapped values? For the output you will get before swap, a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 7 as well, you will get that as output. After printf, then I call the swap method where I'm swapping the values which I passed a and b, okay, to the swap method, expecting that maybe a and b are going to be swapped. So after swap, once again I'm printing that a and b value. So what could be the output, sir? Can anybody? It's a very
A
simple
equal to
one.
7,
Everybody
B
knows.
equal to 5, sir.
A is equal to 7 and b is equal to 5. That means you are expecting that a and b are going to be swapped. Any other answer?
A is equals to 5, B is equals to 7.
Yeah,
A is
ma.
equals to 5 and B is equals to 7, sir.
Yes, Amma. So the thing is
Yes,
that
because address has
we
not passed, no, sir. The variable
yeah,
itself must change.
yes, Amma, yes, here. That's what here the parameters when we are passed, the copies of A and B are going to be transferred in X and Y, as if we feel that we are created the Xerox copies of A and B, and that Xerox copies of A is X and Xerox copy of B is Y. And in the swap method, which after receiving the Xerox copies of A and B, we are swapping Xerox copies. So nothing, I mean, will take place in the place of what, sir? The A and B, which are the local variables of main. That means the swap method will not change the contents of A and B. Still, A remains A only, or sorry, 5 only, and B holds 7, even after calling the swap method. The reason is the swap method, which is holding the local variables X and B, that contents are, of course, will be swapped. Okay, so X and Y are different from A and B, and I told you this in the last class about that memory when we discuss about in the stack memory, the A and B, which are local variables of main, are going to be created into a separate frame, and upon the top of that, the swap related local variables X, Y, and temp are going to be created into a separate frame. So there are two frames are generated. The bottom frame, which is a frame related to main, having A and B, holding 5 and 7, remains same even the swap method is called. Because in the swap method, the frame which is generated for X and Y are entirely different. The memories which are generated for X and Y, even temp, are completely different from the memories which are created for A and B. So that A and B, X and Y, they don't share any memory or some locations or any addresses. So before and after swap, nothing will take place here. Before swap, A is 5, B is 7. After swap, also observe carefully that still A is holding 5 and B is holding 7. That means no effect is taken place. That is what the problem with what? Call by value. That means what we understand is, in case we are expecting that from a function, from a function, if you want to do any manipulation of the variables of other function, so what is that other function here? Caller. Say other caller and kali. If the kali wants to change the or modify the contents of the caller related memories, then call by value will not work. Call by value will work only on the local variables of its own. Its own means call is own variables. So here the swap, of course, will take place, but the swap which is going to take place will affect only on X and Y. Nothing will change on A and B. So that is what the main problem in, or sir, this call by value. Okay. So in many cases, suppose if you are not expecting that the contents of the caller should be changed, means you better go for call by value, because you are not interested in changing the values of what the variables which are declared in the caller. Here the declared caller variables are A and B. So in that case, call by value is quite enough. But if you are expecting this type of effect, which type of effect, that Kali should change, the contents or modify the contents of the caller variables. In that case, you better adopt the call by reference. And to adopt the call by reference, all of you, to adopt the call by reference,
Ampersand is used, sir.
yeah, we have to go for the new concept called pointers. So it is possible through pointers only, or in case if you are dealing with C++, then reference variable is there. Through reference variables, we can do this particular concept of swapping the contents or modifying the contents of caller through calling. So that's what about the call by value, call by reference, and for that call by reference to understand, we have to understand the concept of pointers. So to understand the concept of pointers, all of you, here, this is what the first place where we are discussing about the pointers. And in the subsequent topics, we will go in depth about the pointers levels. So that means when we talk about the arrays internally completely manipulated through pointers only. Okay, and the pointers can be used in a huge manner in data structure. So one has to understand these pointers clearly, Amma. All of you EEE and EC people, please concentrate on this concept of pointers. And in case if you have any sort of doubt, you please ask. Okay. So let us go for the basics of. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, one doubt. In the same program, call by
Yeah.
value, if we put return in the function, then what will happen, sir?
Good, Amma. So I will come back to that next slide here. Here, initial slide, I kept the basics of pointers. So once again, I will start what do you mean by call by value and call by reference. That's what the problem in call by value also. The second problem is if you are expecting multiple values, remember, if you are expecting multiple values from a function in C language, all of you, in C language, it is possible to return only one value. Okay, in C, it is possible to return only one value. Unlike your modern language, suppose if you talk about the modern language like as Python, then through Python, what we can do is we can pass or we can throw multiple return values. We can pass multiple return values. But in C language, a function always returns only one. So in swap program, what is happening here? How many we have to return, Amma? If I go back to my program, observe carefully that swap
Two,
method
sir.
has to return two variables. So I cannot say return even if I keep parenthesis x comma y. Let us see what is the result here. So what I did here, expecting maybe after swapping the contents of x and b, so x and y definitely will be swapped because the logic we properly implemented. And after swapping, x holds the y value, y holds the x value, and after swapping the two values we are returning to the main method, hoping that maybe the two contents are going to be swapped. And to catch them, what I'm doing is I'm storing back in a and b by keeping a comma operator. Okay, this was the syntax which I'm following. Let me see whether this syntax is allowed in C or not. Okay, so return with a value in function return void. Okay, I'll remove this void also. What I'll do, I'll make it into int. Okay, so avoid the what's return type. So it is what's happening, sir, here. X and y we are returning. Before swap, after swap, some typical answers we are getting. Observe carefully. Okay. Are you getting? Whereas in case if you run this particular one in turbo compiler, it throws completely error that return values multiple are not possible. Clear? All of you?
Yes, sir.
And if you observe here the output what I'm getting 2 times that 5 only. That means the 7 is completely gone. Where it is gone, don't know. Okay, maybe it is treating the comma operator is allowed. Even after allowing, it is taking only one value. Why? Comma operator, and comma operator returns what from left to right. It is whole. It is returning only one value, that is how much? X value, because left to right means X value. What is X is holding? Are you getting?
5.
So
Right.
that is what returned here. So that was the typical answers. And in case if you talk about the compiler, some other compiler, like as your turbo compiler, it throws completely that error itself. So that was the second problem here in what the C. C returns only one value. And if you are expecting that multiple values to be returned, here is the best example where we are expecting the two x and y values to be returned back to the caller. So when you are expecting multiple values to return, it is not possible. Okay, some compilers may entertain, as we have seen just now. This compiler is entertaining, but we are getting the typical answers in that. Okay, but whereas this is of course possible in some modern languages, like as Python is there. In Python, we can return multiple values by simply saying the comma operator, by using comma operator. And in Pascal, of course, if I go back to the Pascal programming, we have functions and procedures concept is there. There also the function returns only one, but whereas if you are expecting that more than one value to be returned means in Pascal we have a provision called procedures, a complete separate concept called procedures is there which we can adopt. And the same also available in SQL if you are remember or not. PLSQL programming, if you do there also, Pascal syntax is what followed in that, where procedures are completely different from functions. If you are expecting multiple values to be returned, then adopt the procedure, or otherwise we are expecting only one value to be returned, then you use the function. So in C language, so finally what we understand is that in C, only one value is possible to return. And in case if you are expecting more than one value to be returned in the sense what? To be modified, in that case we have to go for the call by reference. That was the second place. So let us come back to the basics of pointers, because pointers is what the concept which we have to use in order to implement the call by reference or call by address. So what is a pointer, Amma? Anyone? Yes, Amma, what is the definition of pointer?
It stores the address of
A
another
reference variable, sir.
Yes, Amma?
A
Stores
reference
the address
variable.
of another variable, sir.
Okay, reference variable is also okay, shortcut definition. Or pointer is a special type of variable which is meant for storing the address of some other
Another
variable.
variable.
And that another variable, they can be anything. So that means before I go for that, first of all, let me ask you that how many types of variables that we can create in C language. I'm not talking about the data type, Amma, remember here. I'm not talking about the data type. The overall type of variables, how many broadly we can create in C language.
Trial
3,
version.
sir.
What are the three, Amma?
Local, global, static.
No, not in position wise. I'm not talking about a storage class wise also. Overall, I mean, values, suppose if you are talking about the values to be stored, so based on the values which we are
Trial
storing,
version.
what do you say? The types of variables are how many?
Trial version.
Yes, Amma.
Trial version.
Srinita, Sanjana, anyone?
Trial version.
Yes, Amma.
Trial
Okay, I'll
version.
tell you that. Maybe I'm typically asking you the question. Maybe you people are not understanding. Let me tell you, in C language, there are two types of variables are there. One is what? Value variable. The other one is pointer variable. The types of broad variables, categories of variables are two types. Value variable is one category, other one is pointer variable. And again, if I start comparing with the C++, then in C++ we have three types of variables. One is, as usual, value variable is there. Almost all programming languages support this concept of value variable. And the second one in C++ is pointer variable, of course, meant for dealing with the addresses. And the third particular variable is also there, that is reference variable, alias variable. Okay, so these are the three types in C++, whereas in two only we have in C. So if I
Sir,
go
what
back
is the
here,
difference between pointer variable and reference variable, sir?
so here in C++ we have two more. That means in C++, what was the difference variable that you are taking? Right now, this compiler, of course, it supports, but I have to change a little bit setup. I would have shown. So what we do here, there, without taking the pointer, we take the reference variable, and which behaves exactly like as a pointer internally only. It is not new, though we are calling it as a reference variable, but internally it behaves like as a pointer only, constant pointer. So if someone wants to explore more, okay, I'll separately explain for them. I have taken again a variable called value, so I mean a, which is of holding 5 here, and this is value variable. So in case in C++, if I want to create a reference variable, then ampersand of p is equal to a. This is what that I have to say, all of you. No need to use asterisk here. No need to use asterisk here. And in case when I am trying to output here using the C out, when I say A or even if I say P, both will print 5 only. This is semicolon, amma. Both will print 5 only. No, I repeat once again, this operator no need to use in case if you are dealing with a reference variable in C++. Okay, because P is a constant pointer, holds the address of A, and when we are simply calling P, this equivalent to asterisk of ampersand of what's that A. This equals to asterisk of ampersand of A in C++. It converts like this, and will print as usually the value of A, same as okay P, without using neither ampersand nor asterisk. And in case if I change the P value, say if I change P is equal to something called 6, no need to use again asterisk P. Simply I can say P is equal to 6. And after changing, once again, if I print the output here, A as well as P, then can anybody tell me, those who are familiar, because I think you practice in what data structures, the time of data structures, so you might have learned about the C++ a little bit. So here, after changing P, once again I'm printing A and B or A and P values. Can anybody tell me what the output you will get? A is holding 5. After holding that A, which is holding 5, I created a reference variable here, ampersand of P, in which A is assigned. And after that, when I'm outputting through Cout, both outputs you will get as what are 5, 5. 5, 8, 5 as an output you will get. Now what I did, P I changed here into 6 here. And once again, I'm printing the values of A and P. So what the output you will get, anyone? What is it? A output you will get? With respect to C++. This is what stuff related to C++ I'm talking. Can anyone guess what is the value of A?
6 and 6, sir.
Very good. A remain, I mean, when you are changed to P here, P changed to 6 here, ultimately its effect we'll find in A also. Okay. So though we are changing into P, the P is nothing but asterisk of ampersand of P. Whenever P is appeared, just replace with this particular one. You'll understand what is happening here. So ampersand of A is nothing but address of A. Say assume that address of A is something. And from that address, we are extracting the value. So this means this P is ultimately changes the value of A itself. So when P is changing to 6, A changes towards 6. Similarly, in case if I change A to something called 10, and again if I without changing the PMA, without changing P, I am changing this time A, which is holding 10, and I am trying to print the value of P. What could be the output of this particular statement then? Yes, someone said the answer. This is absolutely right. If we change the P value, ultimately A also changes. As a result, this time you will get 6, 6. Now tell me, here I'm changing the value of A and trying to print that A and P values. Can anybody tell me what the output of this one then? Yes, Amma? Yes, Amma, what is the output of this particular one this time you will get? Since I changed it A to 10. Anyone? Yes, Amma? No one? Yeah? Srujana? Varalakshmi, Srujana, anyone?
6, sir.
Yes, Amma? Both outputs
A
are?
is 10, P is 6, sir.
A is 10, P is 6. No, Amma, what actually happens is both will again show 10, 10. So that's what the main important part of reference variable in C++. If you change P, ultimately it affects on A. And in case if you change A, then ultimately it affects on P. So both are like as twins brothers. If you beat P, okay, you are indirectly beating A, and if you beat A, indirectly you are beating P. So I remember that Hello Brother movie, Amma. Have you seen that Hello Brother Nagarjuna movie? The twins, even the same movie is of course released in Hindi also. Okay, so there if you beat the twin, one is in what's jail, the other one is in front of gundas. Okay, if gunda beats, then ultimately the beat effect you will find it on the person who is there in jail. So likewise, okay, one affects on the other. That's what the stuff related to the reference variable. And in reference variable, nowhere need to use this asterisk symbol. Hope that now you understand the third type of variable which is there in C++. But if I come back to the C here, there are two variables are there. One we call it as a value variable. Value variables are meant for holding the value, like as here int a which is equal to 5. So a is a value variable which is ready to hold a value, and that value can be of anything. Integer, of course, suitable right now, yeah. And the other type of variable is pointer variable, and pointer variables are meant to hold the addresses. Okay. So how to declare the pointers? What are the operators to be used in dealing with the pointers? Means for pointer dealing, we use two types of variables, sorry, operators. One is asterisk, the other one is ampersand. Ampersand operator is called as address operator, and whereas asterisk is value at the address operator. Okay, so these are the two operators which we use to deal with the pointers, or to write the program using pointers. Then the next one is how to declare the pointer variable, then how to store the address, all this stuff will come. Knowing unknowingly, we already seen that address operator, we generally use it in scanf to read the variable. So there also the meaning is same. Ampersand meant for passing the address of the variable, so that whatever the scanf, I mean whatever the value which is given by the user, the scanf will take the value and go to the address, and in that address it will push the value which is given by the user. So there in the scanf, whatever the ampersand we are using is meant for the same. So let us try to understand then how we can declare the pointer. No need to worry, it is similar to a value variable. The only difference is while declaring the variable, okay, how we take first of all the data type, how we mention, same data type has to be mentioned, then asterisk followed by pointer variable. Okay, so this was the way how we declare the pointer variable. So through this symbol, the compiler will understand that this is a pointer variable. And the data type is as usual, it can be integer or any type of data type. It may be a user defined data type or whatever it may be. So particularly structures like things we can use, okay, because structures are more useful in what implementing the data structures. So thus I repeat, data type can be integer or float or cap, any predefined data type, or it can be even user defined, whatever it may be. So this was the way that how we declare the pointer. Then after declaring the pointer, how one can store the address in this one means either at the time of declaration we can store the address, or after declaring we can store the address. So if you are storing after declaration, then we have to simply say ptr is equal to, which is a pointer variable, is equal to ampersand of a. Ampersand stands for address. So we are storing the address of a into the pointer variable. So once if we say these three statements, what they do, let us see. So let me declare here the pointer is of integer type only, asterisk p. So rub this, let us write the first statements. I am taking an integer variable of value variable a holding 5 here, and I am declaring a pointer variable asterisk p, okay, in which I am storing address of a. In a declaration time itself we can write, or after declaring, just now I showed you that declaration you do it here, and later what you do, you assign the address. Like this also we can say both are same. So if I do like this, then what actually happens is there is a memory which is created for a, because we know that a is a variable of integer type, so 2 bytes, if suppose assume that 16-bit is there, or 32-bit 4 bytes. So we'll treat that as a 32-bit. So 4 bytes is allotted and 5 is stored in it. And this is a memory location. So since this is a memory, so obviously we'll hold an address. Every memory location will hold an address. Say if I treat that address is something called 51279, then this, if this is my address, this is what the overall statement which is taken place after this statement. Now in the next statement, what I did, I took a pointer variable, say p is a pointer variable for me, and in that pointer variable, because it is also a variable, so it also holds certain address, and that in that particular pointer variable I clearly assigned the address of a. So the address of here a, it is 51279. This is what that the address of A is what stored. So as a result, we can imagine that as if P is holding A indirectly. So this is what the way that how the pointer variable can be generated and address of certain variable we can store it in. And the resultant, the memory map will take place like this. Okay, sir, all of you? Okay. Yes, Amma.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Now tell me, suppose
Yes, sir.
if I take a floating variable, float, say B is equal to 2.5. So float type variable I have taken. Now a pointer to be taken of which type then? I want to store the address of B here. B is a value variable, remember, because it's holding 2.5, which is a value. Now I want to store the address of this B. So I have to declare obviously the pointer variable. So how can I declare, Amma? Yes, Amma.
Integer, sir. Integer, sir.
Int
No,
only,
Amma.
sir.
So no, the data type you have decided to store the address of B which is of float type. So pointer also should be declared as float type only. Say for example Q. I have declared that Q as a float type, in which I can assign the float type variable address, which is P. Again, the same, suppose if I take a character variable char ch something is equal to A, uppercase A, I have stored a character in that, and I want to create a pointer variable. So I should take the pointer variable is also of which type? Character type. Say this time it is
So,
R. Yeah, yes, Amma,
sir, but
I'm coming. I'm coming. So here the address of the ch is stored in the pointer variable R, which is of which type? Character type. Yes, Amma. Tell me now.
sir, but address would be integer only, no, sir. Why to declare it as float or character, sir?
Very good. Who asked this one? Who asked this question?
So Chitra.
Chitra. Okay. Now tell me the reason behind it. Why we have to maintain what's the float when you are decided to store the float variable into what's our float pointer, then pointer should be of full type, and if you have decided to store the address of a character variable, then the character what's our pointer only we have to take, and in case if you are talking about the integer, pointer also should be of integer. So the address of whichever the variable you are storing, the pointer also should be declared of the same type. The reason behind that is in pointers we can do some arithmetics, like as we can increment the pointer, we can decrement the pointer. Okay, we can add one what's a constant to a particular pointer, like that how we do the arithmetics on what's the variables, like as value variables. Okay, we can add the two value variables A plus B. Likewise we can increment the particular value variable. In a similar way on pointers also certain arithmetics, not all arithmetics, we cannot divide the pointers, remember, but we can do some other operations like as incrementing the pointers, decrementing, or okay, adding some constant to a pointer. This type of arithmetics we can perform. So when you are performing such an arithmetics basically, and in case if you have declared the particular one an array, I told you that array internally completely implemented using pointers only. So when you are incrementing, it should point to the next location of that particular array which is of same size, because in C we don't have a mixed type of array. We can create the array of similar elements. We cannot create the array of different types of elements. So for that sake only, okay, what we have to do in C is that if you want to store an integer variable, the pointer also to be declared as integer, so that in case if you are trying to increment the pointer or decrement the pointer, it should jump to the next location, next integer location. So here for integer, assume that 4 bytes is allocated and its address is stored in pointer. And in case if you are incrementing the pointer, it will completely jump to the next 4 locations. Okay. It cannot move partially in between. The 4 bytes means I agree that one byte is there and base address is only going to be stored in P. So if you are incrementing P++ means, suppose if your base address is 51279 is what created for A. If I say P++, then it's not mean that 5127 280 kelladi. It will not go for the 280. 280 is the next immediate byte within that 4 bytes. Instead, what it will go, it will jump to the next 4 bytes. It will search for the next 4 bytes. Clear? So for this purpose, And if this particular thing is not happening, and in case if it is moving within the bytes only, then gone case, we cannot implement the arrays successfully. Arrays we can implement successfully in the design of arrays which is made in C is completely uniform or homogeneous elements only we can store. And in pointers, I mean, the arrays in C internally implemented through pointers. And when we are navigating from one element to the other element of the array, the pointers get incremented. And when they get incremented, they have to increment integer size if the array is of integer. If it is a float, float size only it has to increment. If it is a character array, then character size of jump only to be taken place. So this is what the reason that the pointers when we are taking in C, they should have this particular property, that if you are taking, if you have decided to store that is of a character, then better you declare the pointer is also of character type only. Is that clear, Amma? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
You imagine as if it is an array. In case if this particular thing is not happening, if you are expecting different things, then arrays not at all possible to implement in C, because C arrays are nothing but pointers. Internally, everything dealt with pointers only by your compiler, by your system. And if we violate this one, then gone case. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే 2 bytes కాస్త నెక్స్ట్ 1 byte కి జంప్ అవ్వడము, 1 byte లొకేషన్ అంటే క్యారెక్టర్ కి జంప్ అవ్వడము, అలా లేదు. బికాస్ ఇన్ సి వి హావ్ అరేస్ విచ్ ఆర్ ఆఫ్ హోమోజీనియస్ ఎలిమెంట్ హోల్డింగ్ arrays only. So that's what one of the reason that why we have to declare the pointer is also of same type based on the variable or variable whose address we have decided to store. Now tell me, we declared here 3 different pointers storing the 3 different addresses. P is of integer, B is of float, and CH is of what's a character type. What is the size of all these 3 pointers? Here in the first case, assume that 32-bit machine is there or 16-bit, no problem. What is the size of P, which is integer type pointer?
4 bytes.
4 bytes,
4
sir.
bytes, 32.
Try-
Otherwise, if it is 16-bit, then 2 bytes. Okay. Then what about the float here? Q is a float pointer. Anybody? What is the size of this?
Float also 4 bytes, sir.
4 bytes only. And what about the character?
1 byte.
1 byte.
Character
1
pointer,
byte,
1
sir.
byte. Any other answer, Sama? Anybody wants to change the answer? My question is, I have clearly mentioned that the pointer near a address store. Suppose you have decided to store the address of a integer variable, pointer to be of integer type only. If you have decided to store the address of a float variable, pointer to be declared as a float type only. And similarly, if you want to decide to store the address of a character variable, pointer to be a character type only. That's what clearly mentioned, and I told you the reason behind it. Okay, let me clear once again that question which I have asked here. So that thing, I think, hope that you understand that why the pointer to be declared of same type. Second thing is, now the question which I asked here, I have taken an integer variable a of size 5, and because of a's address I have decided to store, so pointer also declared which is p of integer type only. And character here ch is a value variable holding a as a value in it. And since we have decided to store the address of ch, the pointer is also declared as a character variable which is r. Now the question is, what is the size of p, keeping in mind that 32-bit machine it is?
Sir, size of any pointer is 8 bytes, sir.
8 bytes. Anyone? Anyone, Amma? So what is the size of p here? Assume that 32-bit machine we are running.
8 bytes.
Okay, not 8 bytes. Assume that integer size is 4 bytes. So what is the integer pointer size? Because p is declared as int only, no?
So 4 bytes only, sir.
4
4
bytes. sir.
bytes. Fine, fine. Okay, got it. Now what about the character pointer here? R.
4 bytes.
Character
1
1 byte.
byte. 1 byte.
Character
yes,
1 byte. No, the answer is, all of you, whether it is a float type pointer or integer pointer or character pointer, irrespective of their data types, pointer always occupies the size which is equivalent to integer. All of you. I repeat, any pointer, it may be of even structure pointer also, let it be. Structure, assume that it is having some thousands of members. Okay, so whatever the size of the actual variable is there, since the pointer when you have declared, the pointer size, irrespective of its type, should be always equivalent to integer size. So in 32-bit machine, the integer size is 4 bytes. Therefore, whether the pointer is of float type or character type, the other two pointers also will hold the size of that particular pointer. How much? Integer only. That is 4 bytes only. Okay. So
Then
thus,
if it is 64-bit, then it will be 8.
of
8
course,
bytes.
if the compiler is designed based on the 64-bit, then naturally integer takes 8 bytes.
8
As a
bytes.
result, all others also will take 8 bytes only. Clear,
Yes.
Amma?
Yes, sir.
But if you keep it in 32-bit machine, because most of the compilers, existing compilers of C type are not yet modified, they are still working on 32. Turbo like compilers are only still working on 16-bit, whereas some compilers are there which are little updated new compilers which work on 32-bit. So as you said that if we are extending to 64, then it may go to WhatsApp 8-bit also. So remember the final answer is P here. All the three pointers. What are they? P, which we declared, Q, which we declared as a float, R, which we declared as a character. All these three variables, pointer variables, of which holding how much memory? Integer size memory only. That means 4 bytes. Suppose if I talk about 32 bit, 4 bytes, or better say the answer is integer size. The A type అన్న ఉండని pointer always takes a memory to hold the address which is of integer size only. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? Why integer
Addresses
size?
are integers.
Yes, Amma. The best answer is addresses are positive integers. If you see your memory chart, your RAM, in that RAM we cannot see, of course, the addresses. We can print the addresses by moving from one to the other. But remember, addresses are always positive integers, Amma. You won't get an address. You won't. An address will not be created in the form of a float or in form of a character. Address always created in integer form. Okay, so because of addresses are all integers here, 5,000 or 51,279, which is address of A, which I assumed, of course, is of which type? Integer type only. I didn't say 51,279.1. I didn't say that address is 51,279.1. No, I didn't say. So thus the addresses are always integers. Therefore, irrespective of the type, the pointer always occupies integer size only. If integer is 4 bytes, pointer is also 4 bytes. If integer is 2 bytes, then pointer is also 2 bytes. If it is 8 bytes, then pointer is also of 8 bytes. That's what the pointers concept here. Now, is this ended here, Amma? Then okay, we have stored many things. Of course, the things are clear right now. We store the address of P. Then how we can access the content of A then through this pointer? Means we have different things are there. So what you have to do? Suppose if you want to print the value of A through pointer without referencing A, then what you have to do is simply to print the value stating %d comma asterisk of P. I have to say, and this asterisk denotes about value at the address. I told you asterisk is the value at the address of P. So what is P holding, sir, Amma? What is P holding? 51,279 is the P which is holding, which is an address, and that address is located here. So whatever the value at this address is there, that will be printed. So what the value which is holded in this particular address, the value is how much? 5. 5 will be printed as an output. So thus asterisk, when we are using at the time of declaration, we have to use asterisk, and apart from that, whenever you want to extract the value at the address which is stored in that particular pointer, then we have to use the value at the address operator, which is asterisk. So if I see asterisk, it will print. Now what I'll do, all of you, let me map again. So of course here every time I'm taking integer example, don't worry. Same thing you can even implement for the other types also. So I have taken an integer variable holding 5, which is A, and I have declared even pointer variable asterisk P holding the address of A. Fine. And just now I told you the memory. related to this. P holds integer size memory and A also integer type, so which is holding 5, and assume that the address is 251. Simple address this 251. Don't get confused with that. 251 is the address of A, and that address is stored what in P. So P is a pointer holding the address of A. Now, if you want to access, let me write the different statement now. Tell me, if I say printf %d comma A, what is the output? Simple printf statement. What is the output? From this?
5.
Of course, you will get 5. No doubt in that. Directly we are accessing the 5, I mean A, so which is holding 5, 5 will be printed. Now let me write one more printf stating that %d comma ampersand of A. Can I write like this? In printf statement, I'm using ampersand to the value variable A.
Address would be printed. Sir.
Address. So what could be the output, Amma?
251.
251 will be
Because
the output.
251 is
Is
the address of A.
address of A.
So A's address explicitly we are mentioning here, we are passing here. Therefore, address of A, which is 251, will be as usual printed. Now printf, if I say %d comma asterisk of ampersand of A, then
5, sir.
5,
Fine,
sir.
sir.
asterisk అనగానే జ్ఞాపకం వచ్చేయాలి ఏమని value at the address. So what is the address of A here? Clearly we mentioned this. Address of A is 251. 251 అనే అడ్రస్ లో, yes అమ్మా, let me tell you, 251 అనే అడ్రస్ లో ఉండే value. So what is 251? Where it is located? 251 is located here, and the value in 251 address is how much? 5. So therefore here also 5 will be printed, which is equivalent to the value of A. Now these three, without using pointer, I tried to print. Now what I'm doing here, once again the printf statement, this time I'm saying P. Can anybody tell me what is the output of this?
251.
251, sir.
Direct. ఎందుకంటే now I told you that P లో ఏం స్టోర్ చేసాం మనము. Here if you see, observe that carefully, in P we directly stored A, and I told you not only like this, we can even declare like this also, int P asterisk P అని చెప్పేసి నెక్స్ట్ లైన్ లో P is equal to ampersand of A అనొచ్చు. So only P without any operator. P is a pointer variable without either ampersand nor even asterisk when we are using. Just imagine that what we stored in P, we stored ampersand of A. That means address of A we stored. So simply P, if you call, as you said, that it prints how much? Address only. Because 2 is holding the value 251. P కెళ్ళి చూడండి, మీకే తెలిసిపోతుంది. What is P holding? 251. Of course it is an address of A. That is a different matter. Then comes one more printf. Let me write printf %d comma ampersand of P. Anyone?
Address of P will be printed, sir.
Very good. So this I didn't specify particularly. ఇక P, sorry, A కి అడ్రస్ ఉంది 251. A is holding the address 251, which we catch in the pointer P that we store. But P is also a memory kadamma. It is not a typical or sir Brahma or Vishnu. It's not a typical variable. It is like as other variables. And the size of the P, we know it is equivalent to integer size. Just I told you. So that means P also needs, or P is also holding some memory. So wherever, whenever a memo is created, every memory will hold an address. So therefore, since P, of course, it is holding the address of A, but to hold the address of A, it needs certain memory. Therefore, for P also memory is created, and this memory also will hold certain address. Say, assume that the address is something called 5279. So that 5279, which is the address of P, that will store, because in front of P clearly I mentioned ampersand. So indirectly it is nothing but address operator. So address of P is how much? 5279. That will be printed because that is the address of P. Then lastly, if I suppose write like this, what is the output of this one there? Printf %d comma asterisk of P. Not ampersand, asterisk of P.
5.
What is the output of
5.
5? Why? Because asterisk of P is nothing but asterisk of P, we know it is ampersand of A, and asterisk of ampersand of A is address of A, which is 251, and in 251 the value is how much? Asterisk stands for value at the address. So what is the value which in 251 we have 5. So therefore the P through P is holding 251 and 251 lo unde value ఎంత ఉంది? It is holding 5, so 5 will be printed. So these are what the variations. With the help of the two variables only, different variations I have shown. So no need to get confused, amma. If you want to store the address, say ampersand, and once if the address is stored in that address, if you want to extract the value, then of course we have to go for what, sir? The asterisk symbol. First of all, pointer has to be declared, and after declaring the pointer and storing the address, we have to use the asterisk symbol to extract the value, okay, at the address which is P holding. So these are the various concepts. And this concept never ends somewhere here. In some data structures or some point of time, we have to extend our level of pointer. Mari idi pointer annappudu deeniki kuda address undi. Can we catch this address? Means we can catch. So further to store the address here, we have to create one more pointer of double level, say Q, and in that we can pass the address P here. As a result, what actually happens is when you declare like this, Q will be created, which is again a pointer variable, and in this queue, since we store the address of P, so
Trial
address
version.
of P is 5279, which is the address of P, that will be stored.
Trial
so thus
version.
we can say Q is holding P, the Q is holding the address of P, and P is holding the address of
Trial
A.
version.
Okay, Namma, all of you. So this
Trial
is a
version.
never-ending process. Yes, Amma, Srinita,
Trial version.
mute Amma, Srinita. Okay, thank you. So like this here, Q holds the address of P because in Q clearly we store the value of address of P here. But to store that, since P itself is a pointer, and to store the address of such a pointer, we have to declare one more pointer of double level here. Therefore, we have to use the 2 asterisks here. And again, Q is a pointer variable, so this also will hold certain address. Say if I assume that the address is something called 6592, then to hold this address, we have to declare third level pointer, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk R, and of course you are allowed to store the address of P here, second level address. So this is never ending process, it goes on go. So one pointer address we can store it in another pointer, and through that pointer, now can I access A directly from Q? The question is, can we access here? Q is second level pointer which is holding the address of P, and P further holding the address of A. Now through Q I want to access A. Can we do?
Yes.
So how we have to print then in that case?
Asterisk, asterisk.
Now tell me again. One by one, let me ask you the questions one by one. You tell. Let one by one you tell. If I simply say Q, what is the answer you will get?
5279.
Very good. Because Q is directly holding the address of P. So therefore, from this you will get an output which is 5279, address of P you will have. If I say asterisk Q,
521.
if I say asterisk Q,
251.
very good. 251 you will get. Why 251? Just you see this.
Getting the value
Asterisk
of 527.
Yes, asterisk of ampersand of P, kada? Because in Q we stored ampersand of P. So what is ampersand of P? Address of P. Address of P is how much? 5279. Now asterisk of, we can feel as if it is asterisk of 5279. So asterisk use చేసినామంటే 5279 అనే అడ్రస్ లో ఉండే వాల్యూ, because this always meant for extracting the value only from that address. So what is 5279? Here it is. And 5279 లో ఉండేది ఏమమ్మా?
251.
What is the value which is holding? 251. So therefore, if I simply say asterisk Q, it prints 251. From this notation, it will give an answer called 251. Let me write 251 you will get. Now finally, suppose if I say something called double asterisk Q, then
We'll get 5.
5. 5.
Here you get 5. So then through P, so through Q we reach to P, then from P we are able to extract the value of A. సో క్యూ నుంచి ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ వయా పి ద్వారా ఏని తీసుకురాగలిగినాం కంటెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఏ. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్, వీ కెన్ స్టోర్ లైక్ దిస్. అండ్ అఫ్ కోర్స్ ద సేమ్ మీనింగ్ హియర్, asterisk of ampersand of p, because q is all ampersand of p is 5279. ఇందులో వాల్యూ ఎంత 251, ఇక్కడ ఇది 5279 అయితే వాల్యూ ఎట్ 5279 is 251. మళ్ళీ 251 ముందు asterisk ఉంది కనుక వాల్యూ ఎట్ 251 is how much? 5. So finally it prints 5. So this is the way that how we have to understand. We can even go to any level, amma. So there is no end process for this. Until you exhaust your memory, we can go on create the number of pointers, one to the other level, like this we can create. So we can imagine as if it is like, as I used to tell even in the classes also, all of you, these pointers, playing with the pointers will look like this. Suppose if you want to know your address, home address, then the address of your home is located in your street. You ask the street will tell you where is your home. And if you want to know your street where it is, you better ask your locality. Locality will tell you where is the street, okay, located. And if you want to know the locality, the address of the locality is stored in what? That taluka, okay, or what do you say, mandal. And if you want to know where is your mandal, you better ask district. District will hold the address of mandal. And if you want to know the address of district, you better ask state. State will tell you. Similarly, state address, if you want, you ask country. Country will tell you. If you want to know where is country, you ask what? Your continent. And if you want to know the continent, you ask about globe. And where is globe means you get into the universe. Universe will tell you. So there is no end. Our universe is endless here. Here also it is endless. Unless you exhaust all that memory, we can go on extend our level of pointers. And here in this discussion of the pointer, I didn't specify about the pointer arithmetics. That we'll deal it when we talk about the arrays. So I want feedback on this pointer sum from EEE and ECE students. Please come forward. It is for you actually I'm concentrating. Otherwise for my CSE and IT students, they all know very well all this. If I revise the things, they'll understand, they can recall. My intention is that I want that ECE and EEE people should involve. So please come forward and tell me, do you have any doubt in this? Yes, Amma. EEE and ECE students.
It is clear, sir.
As of now, it is clear, sir. Like,
Okay, Nama. Okay,
it is
Janti.
clear.
Fine, Aisha. Good. If don't get confused, you work out on this one, Amma. You only will get, you will understand that which symbol is used and then what actually happens. Okay. Basic declaration time, if you made it clear, then other all the things we can do. Double level, if you want to go, you know, all the three I have shown. What is the output of Q? I have shown. What is the output of asterisk Q? I have shown. Second level I'm talking. And what is the output of asterisk Q? All these three we have seen. Even I can say ampersand of Q. If I say ampersand of Q, address of Q will get. That is 6592 you'll get here in this case. Because address of Q is 6529. It's an 92. I have taken here. So like this, Q is nothing but ampersand of P. Ampersand of means address of P. That is 5279. Asterisk Q means asterisk of ampersand of P. Ampersand of P is 5279. And in that address, whatever the value is there, because this always talks about value. So value in 5279 is 251, which is of course address. And double asterisk Q means 251 lo unde value annattu, because two asterisks, two level asterisks. So 251 lo unde value finally 5. So double asterisk Q, when I say I can directly print the value of A via P. Here is that. So just work out, you'll understand, Amma. Yes, any doubts about these pointers? All others?
Clear, sir.
Fine, good. So this was that all the stuff which I explained it in the PPTs also I tried, and here I'm trying to print. You can see this output by typing it on the screen. And when you are printing, of course, when you are printing the address, better use the unsigned integer symbol. You know, ippadi till now the format symbols which we use are what? What are the format symbols which we differently use till now? Means So percentile D is to print the integer type, percentile C is for character type, and percentile F majorly we use only these three for float type, and percentile LF, if you want LF, it is for double. Okay, and since the addresses, whenever we are printing, address is always, I told you, is a positive integer. So it is an integer, that to positive means unsigned or signed. Signed means both negative and positive are allowed. Unsigned means only positive. So for unsigned integer, if you want to print, better use percentile E. Okay, so that's what here in this example I use the percentile U. Observe carefully. If I want to print what's the address, wherever I'm printing the address, there I use percentile U, so that I'll get clear cut the address. And this was that demonstration of the same concept which I explained just now. So I thought of maybe I'm going to extend here. Maybe I'm going to final the parameter passing methods anna kanisam aithe anukunnanu. Not possible to wind up, but anyhow, we spend good time on discussion about this. So shall we stop here today? So that actually I thought of covering the three topics today. One is parameter passing techniques, very, very important. Second one is command line arguments concept is there, where we can pass the arguments to the main method also, that how we pass the parameters to other methods. Similarly, we can pass even parameters to the main method also. And last but not least, we have variable number of arguments function concept is. So I thought of finishing it, but no issues. We'll discuss it in the next class. Okay, Nama, shall I stop? All of you?
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Amma.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Is Chandrika madam is there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you,
madam,
sir.
thank you.
so
I'm
much.
winding up, ma.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.